theater class when I took improv. That literally was the best class that I've taken at GRCC.
I took a route that was not exactly what my parents had in mind. When I was 19, I dropped out of college, dropped out, kicked out, splitting hairs.
Ben, yes, you can. And in her own words, she said, I took his little hands and I placed them on my cheeks and I said, Ben, you can see with your hands. And then I said, Ben, here. And I gave him my arm and I let him smell my skin. And she said, Ben, you can smell my skin. You can see with your smell. And
I always did. And I took that and I brought it to everything else I do. And now it's eye-opening to see people achieving success, financial freedom, these things everyone wants, and know that the difference between them and everyone else is that they felt like they deserved it.
So here's a picture that I took in southern Patagonia. And every pebble that you see on the ground there is a piece of dinosaur bone. So when you're in that right situation, it's not a question of whether you're going to find fossils or not. You're going to find fossils. The question is, will you find something that is scientifically significant? And to help with that, I'm going to add a fourth part to our formula, which is this: get as far away from other paleontologists as possible.
So I took her ears to the lab. We then started preparing them. Yeah, I know. It's a good lab, man. And then we grew cells on them. And this is the result. So, listen, my lab is not in the ear manufacturing business, okay? People have actually been working on this for like decades. Here's the issue. Commercial scaffolds can be really expensive and problematic because they're sourced from proprietary products, animals, or cadavers.
So I took the job as a sanitation worker. I didn't just ride in the trucks, now I drove the trucks. And I operated the mechanical brooms and I plowed the snow. It was a remarkable privilege and an amazing education. Everyone asks about the smell. It's there, but it's not as prevalent as you think. And on days when it is really bad, you get used to it rather quickly. The weight takes a long time to get used to. I knew people who were several years on the job whose bodies were still adjusting to the burden of bearing on your body tons of trash every week.
Sources you need. Now, since I took office, we've made historic increases in veterans funding.
So with what felt like all eyes on me, I took a deep breath and I said, it does. And isn't she beautiful?
New York City, there was a very large climate march. I took part with my family, and me and 400,000 of my closest friends, and it got very little attention in the press. There's a very strange thing that's happened where, I don't know, climate change is boring, it's not sexy, it doesn't seem exciting, and so it doesn't get the coverage it needs.
In general.
I cried when I took over my mom's Christmas Eve party, and she was so emotional about it, giving it up, that she started crying, and it made.
So I took 4 recordings that has made 2 pieces of bark, a piece by Purcell and a keyboard sonata by Scott.
But one of the most profound things that I took away from the book was the notion of taking 100% accountability for your life. And as
London, I took out a bank loan to finance half of it, and then the other half was financed by student finance. After I finished my MA, I was living with my family in Kent, and I couldn't afford to move back into London because I had to pay back my...
I took a whole bunch of clips using Active HDR, including the first shot of this video and many others, and I've got to say I'm very impressed with the dynamic range of these videos. I tried pushing it to the limits here, putting the sun directly behind my head as
and from there I took part in the sit-ins and later the freedom rides. Bree, how did you become an activist?
Instead, I took a few belongings from my home, packed them in a bag, boarded what was then the New Haven and Hartford Railroad for the short train ride down to Grand Central.
Even if I took that gun, that guy could have gone out and bought another one just that day or built one. Like there's this frustration like.
But then why have any laws?
I can.
Widely sold. And so I took that to mean that I owed him to make sure.
Completely. I took out the first round of stitching by cutting it off and then.
So I took a few minutes to just kind of pack a little grease into the bearings and oil things up a little bit. Now this guy's sliding right along as you would expect it to. I mean, it's still not perfect. These are kind of old, but it's going to be what it's going to be.
Florida, I took my heavy swim bag and put it on the deck, and I said to myself, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, you live every day of your life